This is the Perfume Society back for Wednesday chat with the Perfumer live, and we're absolutely thrilled today to have Sonia Constant joining us from France, and we are going to talk to her about creative life under lockdown, about how she's managed to continue to work as a perfumer despite the fact that she's having to homeschool kids, and also what she thinks the fragrance landscape is going to look like after this is all over. So for anybody who didn't see it, we had a wonderful interview with Sonia in our magazine, our perfume magazine, The Scented Letter. And this is all about her working life. Sonia Constant, a working nose. And I'm just waiting for Sonia to request to join the Instagram live, which is quite fun because I haven't got my glasses on and I can't. Aha, she's joined. Okay, I think Sonia has to request. Here she comes. Here she comes. Hey, we're waiting for Sonia. She'll be here any moment, all the way from France. We are connecting. Hello! Hooray.
Nice to see you.
We did it. I'm very good.
How are you?
Nice to see you too. How are you?
Yeah. Thank you so much for the invitation. Very pleased to do this interview with you. Very exciting.
So how are you?
I'm fine, very well. Actually, I live this confinement quite well. I'm confined with my husband and the 2 kids. So it's a peaceful moment. Of course, it's horrible what's happening around, but we live together and it's a very calm situation for us. So I'm okay.
And as a perfumer, you're not used to working from home, are you?
Yes, sometimes from time to time. As a perfumer, we used to work at home. In teletravail, it's possible because working create formula. We create on our computer and all the raw material we know in our mind. Normally, we learn the previous year when we were at school. Of course, it's always important to come back to raw material and to go to the lab and smell again. But to create a formula, it's all about what's happening in your mind. So you can create whatever you want in the world, actually. So for me, it doesn't change. Yeah, I'm continuing to create. And yeah, it's calm. It's peaceful.
And you were telling me last year that you have an app, a special Givaudan app that enables you to work. Can you tell us about that, because it's fascinating?
Yeah, thanks. It's a fabulous tool. So it's a logiciel where you can choose your ingredients, the quantity, but there is many applications and it's up to date every year. There is new opportunity, new things to create, to make the creation easier, more simple, and so to go even faster. So we have a lot of information about each ingredient, the sourcing, the about the ingredients. So it's a fabulous tool. Yeah.
Can you actually create with the app, or does it just have information about the ingredients?
Oh, no, of course, I create directly with the application. I write a formula on the application, and I choose my ingredients and the quantity, and then I can send the formula wherever I am in the world. Just need a connection, a Wi-Fi connection, and as soon as you have your connection, you can send your formula to any lab. Givaudan is a worldwide company, so New York, in Asia, Shanghai, many. So depending where is your clients, but you can compound. This is why we work also a lot during holiday, because actually as soon as you have a Wi-Fi connection, you can work, actually. The thing is, if you are very far, of course, you cannot have your samples. So when you cannot smell what you have created, of course, it's a bit difficult. You can do 1 or 2 rounds, because with the experience, you have the formula in your mind, you know what it's going to smell, but after 1, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, maybe you really need to smell what you have done. So yeah.
Somebody's asking what the name of the Givaudan app is. What's it called?
Sphinx.
What's it called?
Sphinx, like a sphinx.
Oh, Sphinx. We said
Sphinx.
yes. Sphinx.
Yeah, sorry, my English is not good at all.
No,
I do my best.
Your English is great. I was going to ask you, so at the moment when you're creating, is there anybody making up the for you to smell and sending it to you, or are you just literally sending formulations at the moment?
I send formula through my Sphinx. It's going to the lab, and in the lab there is some people who are compounding, and so I'm living next to the office. So for me, it's easy to go to Givaudan to pick up my trials. Or I can arrange with my lab assistant. Sometimes she likes to have a walk, so we can coach each other. It's more complicated for some who have been far away in France. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't have a second house. I'm here.
Do you think it will change how you work after this, or really are you just doing what you always do?
No, we do less trial. It's more about priority. We all have to behave and to make the less trial as possible. And yeah, we have to focus on priority. There is some clients who have postponed their launch, so some projects have been postponed. So yeah, we manage like this.
Yeah, what we're seeing is that there were some launches like around now, and then everything from now through the summer is being postponed till September onwards.
Yeah.
It's like the next 3 months, there are going to be no launches.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know. I think nobody knows how it's going to be. The future, for sure, will never be as it was. Because we all have to wear masks to have this social distanciation. And the way we're smelling, because at Givaudan, we are smelling in a group. We are working with evaluator, CFM, so we are smelling together. So this kind of things is going to change. We can't anymore smell together in a group, because we used to smell on skin. So it's really the social distanciation. We have to work differently. We have to be creative, and I think each of us will have the trials, and so we discuss on phone, and it will be more on on WebEx and
your husband and your kids.
Sorry?
You'll be smelling on your husband and your kids instead.
Yeah, of course. Actually, I'm smelling more on me, but of course, you sometimes cannot put all your project on your own skin. But yeah, I smell on me, because usually we smell on somebody else, and we ask for a skin at Givaudan. Some people marketing they give us a skin. So, but here, I smell on my skin. If it's a masculine, I can of course put on my husband. And yeah, my kids are cool, but for the moment, I use mine.
Tell us a little bit. You're one of the perfumers. I mean, you're still working at Givaudan, and you juggle this with LK, which is your own fragrance house. So for people who don't know, maybe they know you as Sonia Constant, perfumer for, you know, many, many famous fragrances. Tell us about your own work and what made you want to start your own perfume house.
Yeah. So it was, I launched the Elaka brand 2 years ago, but it's a process who starts, I would say, 10 years ago. You know, it's a very long process. It was something I had in mind with my husband, because my husband preferred to be high, but he's working with me on the project. And it takes time to give everything birth together, and it's all about for traveling. So I was very lucky because Givaudan accept this project and they support me, and so I was very happy because I can continue to do my work for my clients who I love and who I love to work for. I'm very exciting to continue this job. And in parallel, I have my own brand, which is something more personal, deeply more personal, more with a more philosophical approach. And so, yeah, it's great for a perfumer to be able to continue these two activity in parallel. It's a lot of work. This is the thing.
Yeah.
But work has never been a problem for me. But yeah, this is the thing.
Tell us about the concept, because it's all about travel, which of course we can't do now. We have to travel through person. So tell us who Elaka is and why she's such adventurous. She travels all over the place.
Yeah. So Elaka, so the name, first to start, the name Elaka is coming from Ella Maya. Ella Maya was a photographer, she was a traveler, she was a writer, she did many things actually, she was a sportive also, from the last century, and I was very inspired by this woman because she was very audacious and she fight for her independence, she fight for her dream at a time where women were supposed to stay at home and wearing the apron string. So there is not only Ella Maya, there is many women like Alexandra David-Nil, Amelia Earhart, Karen Blixen. So there is so many women from that past century who inspire me, but not only me, but a generation of women to fight for independence, for freedom. And this is why it inspired the name. And the K is coming from Kini, which was her little name, her nickname, but it's also referring to the name of my grandfather, Kuchera, is Czech. I don't know, he's passed away, but and he was traveling a lot to Africa, and I can remember when I was a little girl, he was talking about all this story about Africa, about the leather, because I was working for choose a brand, and yeah, so the name is coming for that. So Elaka is an imaginary heroine to whom every audacious woman could identify to. I didn't want to choose my personal name because I wanted all the women could identify to this Elaka, because in the name Ella there is she. In French, she is elle. And I find the name Ella, that is for me all the woman, and this is what I find beautiful. And in the case there is something like Romanesque. I don't know in English, Romanesque, like a heroine. You know, there is something mysterious. I like that this Elaka is not known. Of course, it's a part of myself. It's a part of my husband in a way also. So she's a transposition. She's courageous, audacious. So she travels. Of course, I travel. All the fragrance, Elaka fragrance, are talking about travel. We have done since the 20 years, last 20 years. So what I like with Elaka is I can take a distance because the poetry, if you read the poetry, there is love poem. This is like a second reading of the travel that you write to the one you miss the more. So there is, you know, it's like when you're acting, you can take the distance. It's another role. She is more, transposition in a way.
And
So she's an imaginary earring, just to answer the question.
It's an incredibly beautiful range. And are they fragrances that maybe you've had in your head for a long time, but not had the opportunity to create for a brand, or do you create them specially for LK, or a mixture of both?
Yeah, each fragrance is coming from a trip. So when I'm traveling, I capture everything. You know, I'm traveling always with my Leica camera to capture the picture, the colors, the landscape. I capture the odor I find that I didn't know with my little headspace. You know, it's a little machine, a trap. It's like a balloon, and there is a system which can aspiration, you know, the flower or the wood or any odors you can find in nature, you can trap it. So then I can send it to my lab, and then when I'm back to Paris, I can decipher it and analyze and reconstitute. And I also have my little Moleskine notepad where I write and draw my emotion and everything I feel during my traveling. And then I'm not a poet. I would love to. I love the verb. I love writing. But I asked a friend of mine to help me write the poetry. Yeah. So I tell him what I feel, what my feeling, and so he writes the poetry for LK. So
there are many different layers to this, but I think everyone who's listening and watching we all want our own headspace machine. We all want to be able to capture those smells of our holidays. Yeah. And
I understand. For me, it's quite magical because you can really transcribe everything. It's like a camera for a perfumer. You know, it's an amazing tool. It's Givaudan who have developed this soundtrack tool. It was a great man called Roman Kaiser who realized this. He was the first to realize this soundtrack. And I remember I was a young perfumer, and he was traveling also, bringing back some orchids, beautiful flower smell, and I find it absolutely magical. For me, it was an amazing tool. Not use. I was thinking.
Just give us an idea how big or how small this piece of equipment is.
It's like the fit for camera. I use this I don't know in English and the balloon is like this. You have different size actually. You have small size, you have bigger size, and sometimes if I don't want to take the big bag because the bag is like a backpack. It's You can see. Yeah, it's my size. It's my bag, I would say. And if I have a miniature one also. It's a very small one. And then instead of taking the balloon, the glass balloon, you can take a plastic bag. It's not as beautiful picture, but you can take the plastic bags and put the flower in it. Wow. And then it's the same, because the principle is just to close the smell that the flower vaporize, and then just make it close, and then aspiration. So you can do just with the plastic bag. So this is not heavy. You just take in your pocket and you have just a small instrument for the perspiration, but it's like an iPhone, like the size of 2 iPhones.
Wow. And we can't buy these, presumably. It's not for sale.
I don't know. No, I don't think so. But maybe it could give idea to Givaudan. I don't know. Yeah. But not for the moment. It's only for Givaudan Perfumer.
Only for Givaudan Perfumers.
Yeah.
So, as you know, we had some really lovely questions from our followers, and I'm going to ask you some of them now. I'm curious. This is a question from Lawrence Clove. Have you found it possible to be as creative during this quarantine period? Because we talk to a lot of creative people who they can do it, but it's more of a struggle.
Not for me. I'm the kind of person who the more my mind is empty and the more ideas are coming. You know, there is a, in English, how we say that? I know the universe hates the wall, the emptiness. So
Yes.
When my head is empty, there is much more things that are coming. If my mind is so busy with things to do, you know, like the list to do things with emergency, I become to work like a robot because it's so fast and you have to do like 10 things together. If you don't go in robo mode, you know, you can't succeed. So, and a robo mode, everybody knows, only do things you already have done, you know, so you do it mechanically. So for me, this period, and actually this is the same when I'm traveling in the nature and there is nobody, there is no crowded, and it's really here that the new idea comes through because it's calm. But it's, for me, of course, every perfumer is different and everybody has his own way of working.
Yeah.
And or the way are good, of course, but just for me, yeah, I like when it's calm. It's not too much, but not calm. I have a lot of work. I also work at home and take care of the kids and doing the teacher, you know, so I'm really busy actually. But, no, for me, and you know, I discovered new flower. I was in a garden and discovered new flower, and I did a headspace of this flower I've never done. And I re-smelled my sample, and I smell differently. I books. No, for me, it's it doesn't close.
Yeah. So another of the questions was, how do you keep your nose happy? I suppose. Or do you keep it working well when you maybe don't have all those materials at your fingertips to smell?
Yeah, you know, everything smells in the life in my house. The kitchen, the food, what you're going to prepare for dinner, for lunch. In the garden, it's springtime now. So when I go jogging, it's just the odor in the forest, because you of course go only in place nobody is going. So have a new odor. It's always when I'm running, when I'm cooking, when I'm cleaning the house, because I'm cleaning the house a lot this moment. I have no more help, but it's, the nose is something you cannot stop breathing. So I think when you are a perfumer, you are aware about what you are smelling. And I can see this with my two kids. Of course, they are not yet perfumer, and I don't know if they would like to be a perfumer, but I have one, my Leonard, who is smelling everything. And he's always talking about what he's smelling. Oh, maybe he smells the potatoes who is cooking. Oh, maybe, it smells exactly like at grandmother's house when she cooks the apples. And it's amazing how exact what he says. And the other one, I don't know if it doesn't smell, or yes or no. I don't know. I don't have his nose, but it just doesn't talk about what he smells. Yeah. It just like nothing. He's not talking about. So I think when you are sensitive to odors, like I am, and like one of my sons is, Leonard, it's part of your daily routine. You don't close. You know, there is not an off button on my nose. So no. I always have a fragrance on me to check my triggers. Always have something to smell in my daily routine, and I have some raw material also to, of course, to do my gamme en français. I don't know in English. My do re mi fa sol la si do. But no, so I'm not afraid to be less trained.
Okay. And somebody asked, what was your journey to become a perfumer? One of the questions that just came on here. And we have a question from that was sent to us about how you can become a perfumer today. What is the best way to become a perfumer? So what was your journey, and what would you recommend to somebody who came to you and said, I want to be a perfumer?
Yeah, so to become a perfumer, there is, at my time when I started, there was really two schools. There was the ISIPCA, which I've done. At that time, it was MST, and the perfumery, the Givaudan Perfumery School, which was really the reference, and it's still today the reference. But today, I know there is other school. Some other company also have their own school, and also I know that some other school have opened, like ISIPCA. I don't know if it's as good as ISIPCA. Maybe I really don't know for the moment. But what I can say is what I've done was a good training, and I was lucky enough to meet an impressive teacher. When I was at ISIPCA, I had Dominique Ropion as a teacher.
Wow.
And I had Francis Jean. So I was very lucky, because
You were
I don't know if today there is still perfumer like this teaching at ISIPCA, I don't know. But I was very lucky, and then I had Olivier Pecheux, Christine Nagel, which is now my sister-in-law, actually. And she's at
I know. You're very.
I was very. Yeah, we are. My husband is in the ingredients. We're really like a mafia of perfumer. But yeah, so I think the school is, of course, for me, the best is the Givaudan Perfumery School. This is what I've done, and it was really great school. But I haven't done something else or another school, so I cannot compare for sure. But it's not only the school, I think, which is important, is also the person who is going to teach you, and the way is going to be generous with you. I was very lucky also with Olivier Pecheux, which taught me a lot when I was a young perfumer, and he was very generous, and I was very lucky to have a generous mentor in my career. So I say it's even more important a mentor than a school, because school we can learn, but the mentor have somebody who.
And do you mentor other people now? Do you have?
I used to. I'm mentoring Marc Astori, who was at the ISIPCA. Unfortunately, he didn't pass he didn't have obtained the Givaudan Perfumery School. It's very difficult to enter the Givaudan Perfumery School. It's a very difficult and long process. So, but I was very happy to teach him, and I was happy also to can give what I received, because I think when you're a perfumer, if you have received when you was a young perfumer, because it helps, it's very important to give back. And I was very happy to have the opportunity to give back. It was just sorry, it didn't pass the perfumery school, but it was more for consumer products. So as I'm more a fine fragrance perfumer, I'm not consumer products is not my thing.
Yeah.
So
somebody just asked, how do you get into the Givaudan Perfumery School? I mean, what qualifications do you need, and how do you do that?
Yeah, the Givaudan. So before, actually, when I was so young, I tried the Givaudan Perfumery School and also the ISIPCA. So I had the ISIPCA, continue to ask the Givaudan Perfumery School. And then it was great, because at the end of the ISIPCA, I could join the Givaudan Perfumery School directly. So there was no stop, no hold between my two training. Not sure I have you. The connection has.
Yeah, it's not great. We find
the connection is. Maybe I can try in
I think our connection is good. So maybe it's your end.
Okay, I try something. 1 second.
Okay. I don't know about you, but I'm finding this completely fascinating, everybody out there. And it's...
is it better now?
We're getting some great comments.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining. I can hear you. Yes. I think we're good.
It's better? Okay.
I'm going to give you some more questions. somebody was asking, I mean, I'm getting this a lot at the moment, is people who are concerned about health and perfume. What ingredient, you know, how do you feel about it? Have they strictly tested, and are you getting briefs from people which ask for fragrances that are more clean, if you like? And what does clean mean?
Okay. Yeah. We follow the IFRA, and every client have his own norms. And but we, as soon as we follow the IFRA recommendation, it's clean. So now there is also a new trend to have something 100% natural or biodegradable. It's something which is possible. We have in our system, we can do the calculation. We can have 100% natural. Then it's just a question of aesthetic. Is it going to balance the 100% natural is not necessarily always better, because you know, in natural, you know, if you take an orange oil, it's full of limonene, which can be sensitive to the skin with the sun. So it's always a question of balance. We follow IFRA, so it's the best recommendation we could follow.
Yeah, and IFRA, of course, you know, they do many tests into safety, and they change the guidelines a lot. I mean, as science emerges, you will come across materials that they tell you maybe you can't use now, and that's another challenge for perfumers, isn't it? Finding out, no, you can't use that at such a high level anymore.
Yeah.
So a couple of this is a lockdown related question. Are you doing any fun smelling activities with your kids right now?
Yeah.
As part of
yeah. I love to do like a little test. Especially we have you know, we have a delight collection which we have done with some of our flavorists, because you know, Givaudan is split. We have a perfumery, but we have also flavor, and so we are lucky enough to have the best flavorist, and so we can work together with them and get some bases. We call it 3D because it's about fruit or dessert or something, but it's so weird that we say it's a 3D, like a 3-dimensional. And so we have all this base, like a chocolate, a hot chocolate, like a strawberry, a pear, but it can be anything. And this, I play with my kids and show them, and so they have to guess what it is. So if I show them a pear delight, they have to recognize, and it's not a apple because it's similar, but it's different. So yeah, I love to play with them, and they love, especially Leonard, which is more focused on smelling things. But yeah, it's funny. And also I've done in the school last year. I've done a presentation in the school to show the kids, and it was very interesting to see how, since the youngest age, how some children are very sensitive to the olfactive and how good they smell, and how other doesn't smell right, and some smell right and some doesn't smell right. You know, some can guess what it is rapidly, and some can't. You know, it's really an aptitude. It's really and they have not been trained, so it's really something some people have and some other people don't have. I don't know.
Do you feel, as I do, that we should spend more time on our senses at school, learning about the senses?
Sure. Yes. You know, sometimes I love kids, and I love the psychology of kids, and sometimes at school they learn so many things which are so not useful, and some more basic, more intuitive things they don't learn, and yeah, it's a pity. I will change so many things at school, actually.
Well,
it's too much theory, it's too much based on the right brain, and I'm fully left brain, so for me it's Yeah, we miss the intuition. We miss this part that in life is so important. And as a mother, intuition was so important in my life. You know, don't always follow what people say, but just follow your intuition, and it's very, very often right. You know.
More emphasis on emotional intelligence and less on knowledge.
Yeah, it is difficult to explain because you have nothing to explain what you feel. You know, you just feel you're right. But sometimes it's people don't are self-confident enough in their own intuition, because I'm sure everybody have intuition.
Yeah.
But those who don't believe, don't listen to it, and those who are listening. Yeah. And I know that sometimes I didn't listen. I said, my right brain said, no, you're wrong. And my left brain is always right, always.
Yeah, true.
It's never wrong.
Oh, every time. When I try and listen to my right brain, that's when it all goes wrong.
Exactly. Exactly.
We have a great question here from Dhruv Devanshi, who's in India. How can we all expand our scent bank? So as a perfumer, you have to learn, 4,000 different materials. As ordinary people, how can we expand our scent bank and our scent vocabulary and learn more materials and more smells in the same way as a perfumer?
When you start to learn perfumery, and at Givaudan we have a tool which is the Jean-Carl method, which has done his proof for many years. 50 years it has been created. And so it's a way you learn one ingredient per family. So for the citrus family, you learn the bergamot. For the floral family, you learn the rose. And for the marine family, you learn the cologne, and and that's it. So then you try to memorize all these ingredients, which are very different because they are part of different families. So it's easy to remember. So quite easy. And then you do that for 6-7 lines, and then it's like a table, and then you cross the line, and then you learn by family. So in the floral family, for example, you're going to smell the rose oil with the rose absolute, which is quite similar. It's different, of course. It's for aromatic, you learn the lavender oil and the lavender absolute, and then you start to see the small differences, and then here you start to aiguiser,
what's the word?
In French, it's aiguiser, to affine, to make more precise.
Okay.
Your sense of smell, and so this is the method. Then, so when you do the citrus, you do the bergamot, the lemons, the orange, the mandarin, the grapefruit, the cedra, and you have to, like this. It's simple for everybody. An orange is not a bergamot, and cedra is not a lemon. But yes, when it's in blind, you can mistake, you can confuse, and so you have to learn this way first, like this, and then you learn in vertical, and this is the way we learn at Givaudan Perfumery School, and it's a good.
Do you attach words to a smell? So to help you remember it, would you attach a memory or a color or some other reference?
Yeah,
because
it can help.
Smells is impossible, surely.
Yeah, it can help. Or sometimes, a smell is everybody have experienced that a fragrance you have smelled on a man or a woman, I don't know, who you love, and this smell, as soon as it's coming back, it's like your emotion are up. So it's the same when you learn perfume. If you associate an odor with a moment or a color or whatever, it can help to memorize and to make it different in your brain than the other, which are quite similar.
Yeah.
And in the same way, I remember some notes like, sandal note like Javanol or sandal okay, it's a sandalwood note. They are different. No, it was sandalwood and radianol. I could difference very well. And one time somebody told me, oh, I confuse. It was an easy car. Always confuse sandalwood and radianol. I said, oh, yes. And then as soon as he told me that, and I start to confuse. Why? Because no, when I smell this that odor, I said, oh no, my God, is it sandalwood or is it radianol? And before he told me that he is confusing, I didn't confuse. But you know, so
yeah.
Somebody can make the confusion because it has associated together. Of course, it's
so if I say to you, let's say bergamot,
yeah,
what are the words in your head, or the color, or the association for that? What comes into your mind so you know that's bergamot? I mean, it's an easy one because it's a common material.
Yeah, bergamot is very easy because for me it's completely associated to Earl Grey tea. You smell bergamot and it's Earl Grey tea. And as I used to drink with my grandfather Earl Grey tea, it's completely associated to this. But yes, it's very, at ISIMCA, I remember at the Givaudan Perfumery School was the same. For every smell, we associate words. So if it's linalool, for example, you associate flowers, such like a freesia. Linalool smells like a freesia, but also some rose. And yeah, so you associate some words, and so it helps to memorize, because so then you can start to say, oh, it smells freesia, oh, it's freesia, so it's linalool. You know, you can go this way.
I'm going to ask you a couple more, because I think this is, if I say to you vetiver, what's in your head when I say vetiver?
For me, it's Hersey. I always remember something Jean Kerléo told me when I first saw him, was 25 years ago, I guess. And he told me that it smells potatoes. Bag. You know, and as he told me that, it sticks in my mind, and I refer to this. It's smoky.
That's so funny, because I had the same experience with Jean Kerléo at Jean Patou, and he handed me there, and he said, think of a sack of potatoes. And it's like now when I smell a sack of potatoes, I know it's vetiver, so it's exactly the same.
But it's amazing how it sticks, because it's associated to, you know, you can, I don't know what for you, but for me it was, I was very young. I was maybe, it's 25 years ago, I guess. So, but it's still here. It's funny.
So this is somebody who is teaching themselves to become a perfumer, which of course is a thing now. You know, as you have artists who teach themselves, we are starting to see perfumers teaching themselves how to be a perfumer. He wants to know, I guess it's a Sam, so it could be a boy or a girl. What are the best exercises for constructing simple accords out of notes?
So when you start perfumery, I think the most important things is, and it's also the most difficult, but it's the more basic, is to study the flowers. And that I've done with my student. Study each flower. You have to understand how a rose is made, how a jasmine is made, how a lily of the valley is made. And you have to understand the link, because Mother Nature, it's amazing what she have done, because you can see that a lily of the valley is a rose plus a jasmine. And as soon as you have understand all that link, because everything is linked, all the universe is linked, and as soon as you have understand how it goes like this between the flower, it's already a big thing, and it's the most important things to study. And you need to know the basic, and then you need to know, of course, the family. But no, it's a bit, of course, in the perfumery school we learn the Oriental family, the Fougère family, the citrus, the floral. I think no, I don't like to put things into border. So of course it exists. Fougère still exists, but it's not like Fougère du Bigan. It was at the beginning of the century. It's things have so much evolved, and even the floral today is not the same than it was before. But know the basic about family is a important thing. And then know the fruity notes is something important that we didn't learn so much at my time when I was young. Then I learned with flavorists when I was at Givaudan, and I go to the flavorist to learn every fruit, how we do. So pear and apple was okay, but how you do a mango, how you do a passion fruit, how you do a pineapple, how you do a coconut, and this flavorists have a lot of to teach to perfumer, and they know that's better than we do.
Interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting.
And I can mention one of the one, Arnaud Bousquet. I don't know if he's listening, but he was one of the best, and I love working with him. He helps me so much in so many fragrance, you know, with his knowledge.
We have a request from somebody. Sonia, please write a book.
It's funny. I have 2 propositions already to write a book. Yes, some people contact me to write a book, and yes, it's something maybe I would love to do, because I love words. I have so many things to tell about all the traveling I have done, and I love poetry, and I love working around this Elake story. So I would love to. What I miss is time. That's for sure.
Yes, for sure.
For moments, I say, okay, I cannot do everything together, but yeah, maybe one day I would love to.
Another question that just came through was, do you have any tips on layering perfumes? And actually, as a perfumer, how do you feel about layering? Because, you know, you create something and you kind of hope it's perfect and you think it's perfect. And then somebody like me comes along and decides that, I'm going to mix this with a bit of that and make it kind of mine. So how do you feel about that? And do you have any advice on how we can do it well?
I understand completely, because before I became a perfumer, I did also layering, and I was, I remember in Serge Lutens, so Sephora, and mixing things, because it was my way to be a perfumer. I wasn't one, so I completely understand people who are doing this, and I think the more simple the formula is, the easiest is going to mix well. You know, it's like a painter. If you put too much colors, too much, it's like nothing after. You have, so I recommend for people who love do layering is to take simple formula and try it together, and maybe they will do a good match. Why not?
Yeah.
Also, I do a pure musk for Narciso Rodriguez, who is a layering. It has been created in order to be layering with the
oil
all the line, and it was a very interesting exercise, and I think it was the first time I create really in having that in mind that it's going to layer with it was 3 fragrances already, and I find it very, very interesting. And sometimes you discover, sometimes it's not done for layering, and it works, you know, but, you know, right. And then it's like a spray, one spray of one and another spray of another one. And otherwise, you can put in a glass. What I'm doing is take 2 strips, for example, and like this. I don't have any glasses, but if it's a glass like this, I put the 2 one like this, and you know, I smell in a small glass, and it helps so you can have an idea of what it's.
That's really interesting. So to do it in an enclosed space rather than just in the air, gives you I guess.
Or doing this like this, and you make it. And so you know if it's good here, it's it's more 75% of that and 25, and then if it's good together, it's 50-50. You know, you can say this, you know.
Somebody, Sam Scriven, who works for us, writes for us sometimes. What was the first perfume you ever bought yourself, and do you still wear it?
Yeah, it was, I remember, it was Allure de Chanel.
Uh-huh.
And it's funny, this fragrance, because I started to be, it was a big, I was in the university. So I knew I wanted to become a perfumer, but I was not at the ISIPCA yet. It was before. And to be honest, what I liked first was the advertising. It was Chanel and it was Allure. And I said, oh, I want that. And then I smelled in the Sephora shop, and I said, oh, I knew Astade de Benzyl already. I said, oh, it smelled too much Astade de Benzyl. I didn't like at first smell. And then the evening, I didn't remember I were on my skin, and I had many things. Oh, that's so good, but what's that? I didn't remember. Oh, this is Allure. So it's really important to give a chance to because there is so many consumers who are judging, and I did, so it's not a reproche, it's judging at the first smell, because the most beautiful jewelry are behind. You know, it's like a beautiful woman which is behind, there was no soul. It's exactly like this, you know, okay, she's very beautiful, but finally there is no savor, no. Fragrance is exactly the same, so please give a chance to fragrance, and let's smell it in the middle and bottom, because finally the first note, yes, that makes you buy the fragrance, that's for sure, but what makes you keep it, and what the people around you are going to smell, is what is in the bottom, or even in the middle, or in the bottom. The blooming is in the middle, and then what stay on your clothes is for sure the bottom. So this is the most beautiful. And for it, because I don't have any consumer taste. I'm working more on the bottom and middle note. It's less work on the top immediately, because it's more niche, and I know people are going to are more educating and will let the chance to smell. So it's not too much fruity, but there is not this hook on the top which traps you immediately, but that sometimes can be deceptive. So this is just a recommendation for people who just smell the fragrance on your skin and on your clothes. But take the time to smell. Some jewelry already, and you want to
Do you ever wear Allure now? And another question.
No,
you don't.
no, I don't wear anymore. And when, to be honest, when I was a young perfumer, I tried to copy it when I was at the perfumery school, but it was not as good as the original one, to be honest. And then I did my own creation, and I passed away. You know, I go to something else, and so no, I don't wear anymore.
So, do you have a fragrance that you're wearing now in lockdown as a kind of, I don't know, something to lift you up, or to make you feel comforted, or to make you feel courageous, because you can do all of those things?
Yeah, it's something which is for next ELA case. Okay. So cannot talk too much about. It's very simple things, but I think simplicity will be the key of the future in perfumery. Yeah. And it's simple, and it just makes me feel good, and it make calm, and it's very apaisant. It's very calming and relaxing, and it's more like a bloom from yourself. You know, it's more a fragrance which is like the smell of my own skin. It's my bloom in a way. It's, you know, it's not a fragrance which is une armure, like something that travels. Something, I don't know, an armure in English, something that transform you. It's a fragrance which is more you sublimate in a way, you know, but it's more skin, it's delicate, it have a impressive bloom, it's strong, but it's more in the air, you know, it's not like it's not like it's calcium. It's diffusion, it's like, and this I like that kind of fragrance.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. We can't wait. And so what do you think, I mean, it's very hard to tell, but what do you think will be the lasting impact of this period in our lives, this extraordinary time, on the fragrance world? Do you think it will change our taste? I mean, probably there won't be as many launches. There may not be as many brands. It's been kind of crazy the last few years with so many fragrances.
Yeah.
Do you think there will be a simplification?
That's for sure. I think, you know, people with this lockdown are more focused on their well-being. They are more focused on family, on their health. And they are coming back to true value. But I'm sure that people would love to perfume again and again and again. But maybe there will be less launches, you know, but more new things. Also, in terms of trend, I think it's, you know, we need to this clean. We want everything is clean. I think we are all like, I'm cleaning my house always, you know, everything. And all the food I buy, I cleaning even my fruits with soap. So I think it's the clean trends, but clean in meaning of odor of smelling clean. Not, I mean, with is something which will be a new trend. It have already started, but and Pure Musk in this way was, I think, the first one to be in that clean concept. But for Narciso Rodriguez, but it will. I think this is something will people would like to smell clean,
fresh and clean, and maybe a return of the cologne as a kind of style.
Ocean, I just create the Ocean Didio for Armani, which for me is fragrances as a bit this idea of ocean and flower and breeze. It's a bit in this trend and joyful also.
Well, we're coming to the end of our time, but thank you so much.
My pleasure.
You know, it's been a great hour. Just to tell everybody that this will be on our Perfume Society YouTube channel, and you'll be able to get there via the perfumesociety.org website as well. We love these perfumer interviews. You know, perfumers are like gods to perfume lovers. You create magic out of air. You create emotions out of air. And thank you so much for everything. Thank you for Elake. Thank you for all your incredible creations for other people. And stay safe and stay home. And we'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was very fun to talk to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Jo. See you soon. Take care.
Thanks so much. Yeah, bye.